All right, everybody, now on to Mercury Uranus. Mercury Uranus is a powerful combination, astrologically speaking. And when we read the combinations of stellar influences, astrologer and author Reinhold Eberton tells us that Mercury Uranus is one of the combinations of the astrologer. Mercury Uranus has to do with us being able to process lightning bolts of universal information and us being able to use our mind as a lightning rod whereby we can draw down within ourselves information that may not currently be available for others within the world around us. It is a powerful, intuitive, spectacular combination, and wow, I love it. When a person has Mercury Uranus, their mind is wide open. And their mind is wide open in such a way whereas they're able to tap into streams of universal mind that might seem spectacular and bizarre to others around them, because the Mercury Uranus person has the ability to pull into this world information that isn't already in this world. Uranus has to do with lightning, and that's one of the things that we've associated with Uranus since the discovery of Uranus in the 1780s. And Mercury has to do with the mind. Therefore, when a person is having Mercury Uranus, they can manifest within this lifetime as if they have a fire within their mind or lightning within their mind, but there's something about the mind of the Mercury Uranus person that operates at a faster rate than a lot of other people around them, and this sets them up to create amazing works of genius within this lifetime. Mercury Uranus is the combination for people who are working with geometry. It's the combination for mathematicians, for scientists, and it's also the combination for astronomers and astrologers as well. Because Mercury Uranus allows us to do the sort of mental gymnastics necessary in order to problem solve. And fundamentally, all of the sciences, as well as astronomy and astrology, are foundationally rooted on our ability to problem solve and also our ability to problem solve quickly. I also tend to think that Mercury Uranus is also a wonderful combination for any game that involves a lot of strategy, such as chess, because the person with Mercury Uranus has the ability to see the future. On the one hand, the Mercury Uranus person can see futuristically, and they can see the ways in which the future will manifest, and as a result of that, they have the ability to goad their fellow human beings around them towards the manifestation of that future, even if others around them cannot see the same. When I think about this, I think about Giordano Bruno, who looked up at the night sky, and he was the first person to say, "Suppose the stars in the sky aren't just stars in the sky, but suppose every star that we see within our night sky is actually the sun of its own solar system and the heart of sentient life that exists within that solar system." And you know what they did to him? They killed him. When I think about Mercury Uranus, I also think about Hypatia, an ancient Egyptian philosopher and scientist. Hypatia of ancient Alexandria was one of the first people in recorded history to begin thinking in a heliocentric way. And you know what they did to her? They scraped the skin and the flesh off of her bones using seashells. And there's a very real moral in both the story of Hypatia and the story of Giordano Bruno, that people who tend to think in a Mercury-Uranus way are always people who think in a way that is light years ahead of the period in which they find themselves born. And as a result of that, they may not be understood by everybody around them. And maybe a century later, their ideas then begin to become taken seriously, but usually their ideas seem too far-reaching and too futuristic for the majority of the people around them. One of the problems with Mercury-Uranus people is that they tend to be very off-the-wall people in general. And so, while they are full of brilliant ideas and brilliant information, they tend to also be very erratic and very volatile with their thought process. And resultantly, you're never sure which side of the bed you're going to catch them on. Sure, you're going to know that you're going to hear something brilliant from them, But you might also hear a lot of other random things from them that is truly unhinged. And so as a result of that, the Mercury Uranus person, knowing that they're brilliant, needs to also know how to package their information in a way that is more condensed, more contained, and that has the ability to do a greater amount of good in the world at large. Because the Mercury Uranus person is equally as brilliant as they are unhinged, which is a very real part of why there's always been a very thin line between genius and insanity. Because the same combination, Mercury-Uranus, that can cause somebody to draw down lightning bolts of revolutionary thought that the world needs to progress itself forward, is the same Mercury-Uranus that can shatter the vessel that it exists within. So the Mercury-Uranus person needs to figure out ways of how to ground the lightning that they're bringing into their nervous system. Because Mercury-Uranus is also the combination of insanity and simply madness. Mercury-Uranus is a wonderful combination for troubleshooting, for problem solving, for helping us get beyond our stalemates and our dead ends and our hurdles in life. And if we can use Mercury-Uranus in its highest manifestation, Mercury-Uranus also holds the light and the foresight to move us all towards the future in a way that's far more functional and also a way that's far more efficient than the current structure of things in which we find ourselves living in, that, while functional, may not necessarily be the most progressive way to live or exist within this lifetime.